Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's a beautiful morning here in northern Nevada. I'm very low key this morning. I got my own hair on and just a just a loungy shirt. We're supposed to have rain a lot of this weekend, which is great because we could really use it. But it's a perfect opportunity to stay home and cozy, which to be fair, I think it's almost always a perfect opportunity to stay home and cozy, so I'm probably not a good gauge of that, but it is supposed to rain, which we desperately need, so I'm looking forward to that. Jumping right into Stitching in Action, we have some great ones this week. First up, we have Animal Alphabet stitched by Diane, and she used 28 count Grass Green Cashel fabric with the called for threads, and I just really love the way that it shows up on that fabric. So excellent choice, Diane. Thank you for sharing. Next up, we have Quillber, and this is stitched by Allison. She used 20 count Mossy Green Zweigart Ada, and she stitched 1/1 on that, which she said makes him very tiny. She wishes in retrospect she'd gone with a slightly larger version. But I love it. I love the way she put his name underneath. I think the ornament finish is great, so he gets to live on her tree for coming years. So thank you, Allison, for sharing that. Next, we have Hedgehog and Hyacinth stitched by Jamie. Y'all were so drunk with power this time. It's wonderful. I love it. This is the drunk with power stitching in action because I think everyone changed something. All right, back to focusing. Hedgehog and Hyacinth stitched by Jamie. I love the frame, the little arch, and the way that she adjusted it by putting in those extra lines of just some sort of detailed stitching is perfect. It makes it look like it was absolutely meant to be that way. So fabulous work, Jamie. Toast to you for being drunk with power, and I love it. And then finally, we have, this was called an artist trading card stitched by Connie. She was doing a swap with Laura at Stitching by the Shore of these artist trading card finishes, and she chose the beaver motif and some cattails from Happy Campers. So what a fun way to leverage a design and get new finishes and new combinations out of it. I just love that. At you, all of you, so much for sending those through. And as always, if you're stitching a blue flower design, you can send me an email, info@blueflowerstitching.com with a photo. I'd love to see it, and I can put it up on the website. What I'm stitching, I've actually made a little bit of progress on the Things of Autumn by Posy. I've only got 3 motifs left. Yay! So then I can do December. It's a little disheartening to realize I haven't stitched on this since I was in Arkansas last October. But it is also heartening because basically when you sit down in an evening, you can get a motif done. So if I can just get a little more personal stitching time, which I think is actually going to happen now. I think that's the disheartening part, is that I haven't been able to do personal stitching, but I've still been able to stitch. It's just been for models. So, it's really not bad. It's nice to get back to things that are just for fun. So I'm looking forward to wrapping this one up and starting on Things of Winter, and then I'll be done. Okay. Stash Spotlight here. Very fancy this time. This is Quillber. Look at this. I actually got Quillber when I was out at the Animal Ark to interview Quillber for the Jingle Ball, and he's been living in my office ever since. Rye tries to steal him pretty much every time she can, so I've finally given him a place. He's been living on top of the printer, but now that I have these new cabinets I talked about a couple episodes ago, he gets a place on top of one of the cabinets where Rye can see him but not reach him. So there's my own little Quillber hanging out in the office. It's kind of a stash spotlight. What can I say? It makes me happy, and it's in my office, so that works. All right, World Around. Fair warning, it is in honor of the Year of the Snake this year, so those of you who do not wish to see snake pictures, just keep that in mind. And I chose the Western Hognose snake because, look at that face. Look at the face. He's got the little hog nose. Anyway, these snakes are so cool. They're sometimes called bluffers or faux vipers because they have very, very elaborate defense mechanisms. Apparently first they will do like a cobra imitation and puff up their neck skin. Then they'll do, it's almost like they're cycling through other animals to imitate like a cat, where they just bloat their whole body. They take a deep breath and blow up like a puffer fish, or the way a cat does when it's trying to appear larger. They hiss, they will strike, but without using their teeth, so just sort of bopping you with that nose. And then if none of that works, this is my favorite part, they fake death. So they will roll around and writhe wildly on the ground and then collapse upside down with their tongue dragging in the dirt a lot of times. And I read that if you pick them up during this stage, they will stay limp. If you turn them over so that they're on their belly, they'll immediately flop back onto their backs, and they'll just hold that, playing possum, until they feel like the threat has passed, and then they can go on. So honestly, given the 300 million days of January we've survived so far, I kind of feel like I relate to this Western hognose, that I just want to flail around and collapse with my tongue hanging out until things leave me alone for a while. But anyway, they have these defense mechanisms because they're a kind of a hefty snake, pretty slow. You can imagine, because of the hognose, they dig for a lot of their prey. They eat amphibians, eggs, small reptiles, very small mammals, birds, that kind of thing, things they find on the ground. So they're slow, and they don't have a lot of defense mechanism. They have a very mild venom that is effective on their prey, but not against humans or anything like that. So yeah, they've chosen the the option of just dramatically feigning death until whatever is bothering them goes away, which I really appreciate. Because they are diggers, they live best in open areas like prairies where the soil is loose enough that they can dig in it, and their habitat ranges from Southern California all the way down to northern Mexico. They can live for 10 to 20 years by being so good at faking death. It reminded me of a quote that the coward dies 1,000 deaths, but the brave man only one. And ironically, they survive so long by dying these many faux deaths. So yeah, they do have predators, as you can imagine, larger birds, the medium-sized mammals, foxes, coyotes, things like that. But as with so many, their primary threat is habitat loss. So if you either see one, take a moment to appreciate it, or feel today like you need an extended flopping about and faux death scene, go for it. Indulge yourself. If it's good enough for the Western hognose, it is good enough for you. That's the world around. And now the snake talk is over. You can get right back into it if you've been keeping your eyes closed this whole time. All right, question. Last video was something you like to do at the beach, and I loved all of your answers. Thank you. I actually was super productive on that summer design, and I'm so excited to be able to get it stitched up and show it to you. So thank you for that. Question this video is, do you like to read? And no, like, oh, reading is awesome. I love reading, of course. I always have. Not everyone does. But I was wondering, if you do, what are you reading? And it occurred to me because, as I said earlier, I've been stitching on things of autumn and realized the last time I stitched it was in October when I was in Arkansas. I also realized that the book that I'm reading right now is the sequel to the book I was reading then. So it just was on the top of my mind, and I was curious to see what you think, if you do like to read, or if you like to do something else instead, and if you do, what you're reading. So on to best things. I'm so excited because this is my first chance to show the new releases. They haven't even gone out to shops. I'm waiting for the email list for market. So the shop email is ready and I'm just waiting for the list to send that out. So you are the first to see these. So jumping right in, this is Baby Animals, and it's a big one. I'll put photographs of all these in so you can take a minute to enjoy them. But this one I wanted to not just feature a bunch of baby animals, but the design laid out is a bit like habitat. So you can see this is more of an Arctic northern habitat here with lots of these, then more of a forest, more like, I don't know, desert Saharan, and then tropical rainforest kind of loosely things. And I was doing that just as a way to get lots of different animals in the same panel in a way that sort of makes sense. But it was so much fun. You've seen the moose sneak peek. We've got penguin and puffin, polar bear, walrus, just all sorts of ones. And yeah, I'm really excited about this one. It was so much fun to work on. So that's Baby Animals. Next up, got all these within reach here. This one was inspired by the traditional berry basket motif that you see in so many samplers and things. And you may remember a couple years ago, the designers did that really great one where it was just the berry bowls. This one is a birdie bowl. So look at that. I just thought of doing a bunch of birds. Originally they were facing forward and round like berries, but you couldn't really see the bird details as well. So I turned them sideways, all the same shape, and with a few eggs mixed in. And then I used a variegated DMC for the basket that was designed to be a little bit like a nest. And then I sent it to Vonna because I was thinking, gosh, this would look really good as a stand-up, which I don't know how to do. So I sent her an email and said, hey, is there any chance that you could do this for me very quickly? And she said yes. So she finished it in this beautiful stand-up finish, and I've got a link on there so you can see the template and where to go to watch her video if you want to do this one just the way she did. And I want to learn how to do it too, so I'll be watching that video very soon. But I'm just so pleased with the way it came out. Look at that. And again, more pictures and detail on the website. Next up, this one is not brand new, but it's the first time for general release. This is the latest Seasons of the Heart, and this was Heart of the Mountains because it was inspired by the Rocky Mountains. You can see just a quick little one with lots of fun threads. I used a ton of cottage garden threads on this one to get different effects because it was for a kit. Normally I wouldn't use overdyes for small stitching areas like this, but because it was a kit and I was putting them in, I really kind of, well, I got drunk with power, didn't I? And I went wild with the beautiful thread. So again, more info on that. Then we have Pigeon and Puddle. This is sort of like Hedgehog and Hyacinth, but yeah, Pigeon and Puddle. I was out walking the dogs months ago and we saw this group of pigeons just staring intently into a puddle, and I thought, I really want to know what they're seeing. So for my version, of course, the pigeon has little rain boots. There's his reflection, that's what he can see. And just put some spring flowers. Again, I've used some interesting threads to get certain effects, and I'll talk more about in the video on the website so you can see how I did that and what I used. But super fun for this one, and I'm really looking forward to sharing it. Okay, last one. This is Dutch Tulips, and I've got this big signed and numbered elaborate frame. I was inspired by like a still life kind of an effect, but I wanted to use these beautiful Rembrandt tulips, and I kept the palette for these all pink, red, purple so that it would be easy for you to switch if you wanted. I have this sort of Delft inspired vase, but if you wanted to use different colors, it would be fairly simple. And this one, again, really shows off some variegated threads. I'll give you a closer look in a minute, but I also used this kind of wild spicy mustard fabric from Fiber on a Whim, which I really like and I've had for a bit but never found the right thing to put on it. So yeah, this was the one, Dutch Tulips. I do have a freebie and a cookbook design that will be going to market as well, and I'll show those probably in the next video, but that's enough for now. I'm going to take a break right here and just put in the photographs of all these so you have a chance to really look at them, and then I'll be right back so we can wrap it up. Okay, that's the look. Now on to giveaway. Everything is far away from me today, within arm's reach though. Last week it was this winter whale. Here's the model that I showed you. So one copy of that I saved, and it will be not available for general release until this winter, but the winner of that one is Shauna McKiernan. So thank you very much, Shauna. Drop me a message, an email with your mailing address, and I'll get that out to you. Giveaway this video, 5 new releases, 5 winners. In the next video I will pick, and you can have one of any of my designs, including the newest ones. Use the word market in your comment, and I will have that for the next video. Announcements. As I said, I'm starting a new thing where I'm taking videos of the new releases to add to the website. I'm still trying to work out how to get the website info on there properly with the various platforms, so that's a work in progress, but the detail can go up. And I will be doing a close-up video to talk about some of the ways that I've used the overdyed threads to get a particular effect, or just more close-up details of the design, especially for something big like baby animals that's hard to see all at once. I will have, let's see, the Market Cookbook freebie, I said. We've got a nice long puppy video still to come. And that is it for me. So I really got to enjoy spending time with you today. I'm glad to see you, and I hope you have a lovely, cozy weekend. I will chat with you again in 2 weeks.